So yeah, let's just start off by introducing yourselves. My name is Katya. I work for the Keto Diet app. I'm also following the Keto Diet myself. And yeah, I'm excited to be the voice of the community and ask you some of the questions we have for you.
My name's Bob Schneeberger. I've been doing keto for 5.5 years. I'm one of the personal coaches with the Keto Diet app, and we'll talk about the new program that they're going to be launching. I've lost 65 pounds when I started keto. I'm a type 1 diabetic and have been able to get off my insulin and just enjoy helping people. So ready to answer some questions and get some people healthy.
Perfect. I see we already have some questions coming in the chat. Guys, please use the chat below the screen to send in your questions, and we'll start off with the questions that we already have been sent beforehand. Why don't we start with this one? Whenever I stop keto, should I go back to the beginning when I restart?
You're going to do the same process, go back, cut the carbs. If I do fall off, I like to try and fast a little bit or go minimum carbs, try and stay 0 carb, and it just helps your body get into it. The second time you get back in will be quicker, unless it's been several years, just because your body's used to it. So the transition's a little bit better.
Good. And then there's a question just, to the same topic. Have you ever had a bad day and went non-keto?
Yes, a few times. It's actually part of, if somebody stalled for a long time, to actually have a cheat day. My philosophy is it shakes the body up because it's so used to being precise on what it does, so it shakes it up a little bit. If somebody's doing a special occasion or anything, just know you'll probably gain a little bit of weight. And when you come back onto it, just be really strict on the carbs you're taking in. But listen, I do it. If I do a vacation or something, I may go off, but I always go back because I always feel great when I'm back on keto. Even though I'm cheating and it's fun to eat that stuff, I just feel really lousy. So that what always drives me back. So
once you start,
don't recommend it, but if you do, yeah.
Good. Okay, so our next question is, I've lost 25 pounds in 4 months, then stopped. How can I get back to burning fat again?
I would have to know what your meals you're eating are and see, like, supplements can help it. Some people like to take BHB, but they take too much of it, or they take it when not necessary. And what that does is it prevents the liver from burning fat since you're already providing the fuel for it. If there's any health issues involved, or like I mentioned earlier, I will do a cheat day, carb up, and call it whatever you want, and just shake the body up, kick myself out of ketosis, and then I'm right back in right away. And I personally have had really good success with that. Doesn't mean you do it every week, but especially if you've been going 4 months and kind of stall, go ahead and do a cheat day, shake up that body, and then see where you're at. If that doesn't work, then we got to see what you're eating and a little bit more specifics to you, and I'll give you a better answer.
Good, good. But this is where a personalized approach will be pretty good, right? So if we're talking about questions like that, it's better to have, the person's data.
Absolutely. One thing that the Keto Diet app is in the process of launching is a personal coach option. It's going to be a premium service. But what that does is I check your food diary every morning and I offer comment back like you're doing good, or, instead of buying a bottled ranch, it's this amount of carbs, why don't we do this version that I have that's 0 carb? You have free access to me. One of the big benefits about you doing that is I understand your lifestyle, what you're doing. So when you ask me a question, I know, okay, you're diabetic or fatty liver disease or whatever, I can make that pertinent to what your specific situation is. I jump on a call, usually a Zoom call once a week, just to catch up, see how you're doing. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's longer, depending on your situation. But it's a really good approach. One great benefit from the Keto Diet app is I automatically get your diaries. So if you're logging every day, I get it. And I can go through really quick. And I've been able to help a lot of people saying, hey, here's what you're eating. This is what you should be eating. Watch your supplements, things like that. So if you want to be very successful, this is a great one-on-one approach to it. And it's pretty unique for an app like Keto Diet App to offer that service.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. Let's continue with the questions. Yes, I think, yeah, we'll have some time to speak about the keto coach later.
Sounds good.
Okay, so the doctor told me I shouldn't eat too much fat in weight loss phase, not even avocado. Is that true?
No, absolutely not. A big misnomer about this diet is it's science, and you can't cheat science. If you don't have carbohydrates going in, you can't make glucose, you can't feed your body that way. When that happens, your liver will take stored fat and consumed fat and make a ketone, which is a premium fuel. You need a lot of fat for that. A lot of research out there, the old days when you eat fat and it's going to make you fat is not true. What actually makes you fat is stored carbohydrates. So you want to eat high fat. I like 75 to 80% of my diet to be fat. I know from everyone that's on blood tests, everything along, they're living their best life. Their numbers are fantastic. And that's the proof in the pudding, is that the diet works and it's all about the fat. So go ahead and eat that avocado.
Perfect, perfect. Let's eat some more avocados. Okay, next up, how can I add the low carb pasta or bread into the keto app?
That you just go in and you hit the plus sign and it'll be add food. Go over to the My Food section, hit My Food, type in whatever you're trying to add, and then underneath it, it says create new food. And then you can just add your own macros to it. I do that if it's something that I make or if something's not scanning right. So if it's a locally sourced item, it may not be in the national database. So just go there. I like to do it anyways because products from different regions may have different carb contents. So pretty easy.
Exactly. And then you can also save your own recipes. It's really handy.
Correct.
Perfect. Okay, next up. What is your favorite keto-friendly sugar substitute?
Allulose. Love it. It measures the same as sugar. It's sweet but has no aftertaste. I know a lot of people like monk fruit and swerve, things like that. For me personally, I kind of get a tingle on my tongue and it kind of bothers me now. If you don't have an issue with it, then that is fine as well. But my favorite all time, allulose. Love it.
Great. Okay. Next up, I still don't understand the concept of carbs versus fibers, and is there an easier way of knowing?
It's a very simple calculation. You just look at the package, you take the total carbs minus the fiber grams, and then if it has like allulose or erythritol, you can subtract that as well. So if an item is 20 carbs and it's got 10 grams of fiber, it's going to be a net 10. Hope that helps.
Yeah, it should be pretty easy. Okay, next up, guys, keep sending the questions in the chat. We're going to get to them in just a few minutes because we're almost done with the questions that we've received previously. So next up is, how do I break a plateau?
That's kind of the same way that we talked about before.
Yeah.
I would need to know your specifics. A lot of times it's what you're eating, like I said, BHB supplements, things like that, where you're not allowing your body to start burning fat. It may be adding some exercise to it. Or if you've been doing it for a long time, like I said before, I'm not against doing a cheat day, shake things up, get right back into it, and see if that helps. If not, then it's kind of more specific to you and what you're doing, and then I can help you out that way.
Good. Next question. Can I do keto when I'm breastfeeding?
Yes, a lot of research to it. A lot of babies come out in a keto state, so they're already for it. One thing to keep in mind is you want to increase your calories. So probably 500 to 600 more calories per day. I think for most women, it's going to be about 2,500 calories. You want to make sure you're drinking a ton of water and electrolytes, because as you're making that breast milk, you're going to be losing fluids, or you're using fluids in that process. So you want to keep your water consumption up. But a lot of research is that the babies thrive on it, have more energy, and obviously you're going to feel really good as the mom by just feeling healthier and getting that energy boost from keto.
Nice. Great. Okay, next up, we're moving fast through these. So guys, yeah, be patient. Not having as much time to exercise, will this have effects on keto?
It helps when you exercise. So inside your muscles, you have stored glucose, glycogen, and your liver will make 200 milligrams of carbohydrates a day, 100 for the brain, and 100 gets stored in your muscles. And that's so if you have a reaction where you need that quick strength, it's stored in there. When you lift weights, doesn't have to be heavy, just do exercise, lift weights like that, you burn up those stores, making your liver have to produce more energy. When you produce more energy, you burn more fat. So it's not going to stop you, but it's going to help you have better success.
Good. Okay, next up, if we bake a keto cheesecake, can we have it as a snack or a meal?
Have the keto cheesecake be a snack or the meal?
Yeah, I guess it
Um,
depends on your macros, right?
yeah, it's going to fit on macros. I actually have a cheesecake that's 1 carb per slice. It doesn't matter because there's no difference on the food you eat. You want to have high fat, you want to have moderate protein, and you want to have low carb. So whether that's coming from a cheesecake or it's coming from a steak, it doesn't matter to your body. Your body doesn't know the difference. It just knows the macros that's coming in. So if you want to eat the whole cheesecake, as long as it falls in your macros, I mean, I'm a big fan of yours now.
Sounds great. Okay, and then last from our questions that we had sent earlier in, best types of fat to eat. Great question right there.
Your saturated fats are the best, your avocado oils. Your typical vegetable oils, they're so processed, it's not good for the keto process. Now, I understand there's just some things that you may want with it in, but I encourage people to not do that and stay with those saturated fats. Natural fats, you know, from your steaks, things like that. Butter. I know Kerrygold butter is fantastic, but if you get other grass-fed butter, you'll be fine. And just stay away from the processed oils so much. Uh, Avocado, coconut, MCT, all that type of stuff is really good.
Perfect. Okay, so before we move on to the questions from the chats, we have plenty already. We just want to make a little announcements. We have a very special discount for everybody who's joining our live. You can get Keto Diet App with a 50% discount. So that's going to be $25 for a yearly subscription. Normally it's $49.99. I'm going to paste the link to the special discount below in the chat, so make sure not to miss it. I'm going to save it on the stories page for you to access for the next 24 hours. So if anyone hasn't tried the Keto Diet app, you can use that link to get your special deal on the subscription. Okay, let me just post the link really quickly. All right, so now we can move on to the questions from our chats. And the first one is, do you have to eat all the fat recommended daily?
You want to stay within your macros. Now, if you're short one day, but you get back on the next day, it's not going to throw you off. The biggest thing to remember, the only thing that's really going to throw you off a lot and quickly is carbs. If you eat 150 carbs in one day, it's going to kick you out. So if you're a little short on your fat, protein, go over a little bit, you'll be fine. We're looking at the mainstay average to be successful, but keep those carbs under 20 grams a day and you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next up is keto safe?
Absolutely. There's tons of research on it. I'm 5.5 years. When I went to start keto, my doctor didn't believe in it. He didn't think it would work, but he said it's also not going to kill you to try it. After 3 months, my numbers were really good. He wanted to check again in 6 months. And now he actually just wrote me a big recommendation. He sends people my way and is a huge fan. The numbers don't lie. I'm in the best health I've ever been in my life. I have more energy than I've ever had. So absolutely safe, barring some unusual medical condition. But for most, it's fantastic.
Amazing. All right. We have a question about the keto coach. Why would I want to hire a keto coach?
Can you do the research, do everything on your own? Absolutely. But I've done the research, I've made those mistakes, and I can tell you that everybody that I've been dealing with so far coaching has made mistakes. And by that quick change, instead of having a day or two of eating bad, I will let you know right away, versus if you do it on your own and you hear, oh, take a plenty of BHB supplement, and you do that and you find out you're not losing weight, I can save you that time. So what do? I get you into ketosis quicker and I save you time. And all the coaches, I mean, that's what we do as coaches. So that's the best thing. It's for you personally. If you're sharp, if you've invested a lot of time and research into it, sure, go for it. If you're having issues or you're just starting out and you want to have quicker success, a keto coach is going to be the way to go.
And it's probably great to have an accountability partner, someone who keeps you accountable with your diets.
I do it all the time. It's like, you can't eat a Snicker bar and sneak through it. I have a group of coaches too, and I often ask questions as well. So I still need that accountability and things like that too. So I keep your feet to the fire. I make sure you don't make mistakes and just help you progress better. And if you're stalled on a food you want to eat, cheesecake was mentioned, I can give you an outstanding cheesecake to help you fill that in so you feel like you're back to your previous life, but it's keto friendly.
Awesome. And so where would you normally find a keto coach?
Specifically to find one, you can go to the app when it's released, and on the bottom of the app, it'll have a little coaching circle. What the app allows you to do is get a free introductory call with one of the coaches. I believe there's 8 coaches on there. And you just pick that person, you set up a call. We would chat, talk about your keto journey so far, what your goals are, how we can help you get there. And then you can decide if that's what you want to do, and we'll get a link to sign up or not, but you'll get some good information regardless.
Amazing. So yes, so everyone who already has the app, you can check if the coach feature is available to you. If it's not, you can write us in the chat or write us a DM, and we'll make sure you get that installed. If you're just installing the app, just check it now, and then we can also help you figure it out. We're just testing this feature, so not everyone has it so far. So if you want it and you're eager to try it, please let us know. All right. Next question. How long does it take to get in ketosis?
Everybody's different. I'd say on average 3 to 4 days. And again, I try and get people to go very low carb when they first start, so be mentally prepared for it. The better you do with that, then you're going to have quicker success. Urine strips are a great way to test, but I'd say on the average 3 to 4 days, if you're really watching the carbs, staying under 20, not too long. Some other people, hormone issues or something, might take a little bit long. You might be able to get in a little bit quicker.
And what will be the first symptoms for someone who's getting into ketosis?
Well, first of all, keto flu, you want to be conscious of. So some of that is coming from not eating carbs and your body kind of getting adjusted to that. But in the keto process, you're losing a lot of water and electrolytes. So make sure you're taking electrolytes and staying away from that headache. For me, the number one issue or symptom or result is a lack of appetite. Your appetite will shift quickly as you get into ketosis. Once you get through that, the next thing is going to be an incredible energy burst. I have so much energy on a day-to-day basis, and my appetite is cut down. I'm maybe 800 to 1,000 calories a day, and that's not restricting. This is not a carb or calorie restrictive diet. Eat when you're hungry, drink when you're thirsty, and you'll be fine. But you'll see that diminish pretty quick. I'd say that's probably number one effect of getting into ketosis is that appetite dropping.
Amazing. Okay, next question. How do I hit my daily fat allowance?
Good question, and that's probably the biggest question I get. It's doing research on recipes. There's MCT oil that you can add that's going to give you energy as well as the fat you need. I like to take zero carb mayonnaise, add in some apple cider vinegar, oregano, garlic, salt, pepper. If you like spice, add a little crushed red pepper to it, and you can make yourself a little dressing. Grab some salad greens, throw about 3 tablespoons on there. It's 30 grams of fat, quick, easy, healthy. You can do fat bombs, things like that, and the app has some suggestions on that. Again, with the coaching aspect of it, I would look at your diet and I can see what you like to eat, and then I can give you a little bit more specific. But MCT oils, more fat, anytime you eat a protein, there should be a fat with it, and you should be fine.
Great. All right. I'm following the recommended fat, carbs, proteins, but my weight fluctuates on a day-to-day basis. I lose and then gain 1-2 pounds the next day. Why is that?
Because you're weighing yourself too much. You can't weigh every day. A bottle of water is a pound, so depending on when you're weighing and what you're doing, you can adjust that way. This is a journey, not a sprint. So I would weigh twice a week, maybe once a week is ideal, and kind of see where your weight is that way. And then the next thing is I'd have to take a look at your macros, making sure you're staying underneath the 20 carb threshold, and then adjust that way. You may be eating too much protein versus fat, and that can have some issues as well. So don't weigh yourself every day. It fluctuates, and it's mentally draining if you're gained. If you're lost, you're excited, ready to rule the world, but you don't want those ups and downs. You want to stay calm. You want to be stress-free. It'll happen.
Yes, great points. Okay, interesting question up ahead. Are you a fan of 1 meal a day?
If you're hungry, eat. When you're thirsty, drink. Now, me personally, I eat 1 meal a day. I have coffee and I'll have some cream in it in the morning when I get up. I'll do that in the afternoon too. And then I have 1 meal. I'm pretty much at 24 fasting, meaning 20 hours I'm not eating, and 4 hours I eat my meals, usually a late dinner and then some snacks. But it's how your body is. I know most of my clients do, or they'll eat 2, they'll eat, do a 16-8, meaning 16 hours they're not eating, and then that 8-hour window between lunch and dinner, they'll eat. But you should never feel hungry on this diet. If you're hungry, eat. If that's the way your pattern goes, that's fine. It's perfectly healthy. But don't be starving yourself trying to get to a goal. This is long haul, so be smart about it.
Good. Is keto good for your kidneys?
It is, but you want to watch your water intake. So you don't want to be forcing down 1.5 gallons of water a day. When you're doing keto, that stored glycogen we talk about in your muscle is actually made up of water as well. So as your body breaks that down and uses it, you lose water. So it's like being outside playing a hot basketball game, you're sweating a lot, and you realize to replenish those electrolytes. And you're losing water through sweat. Well, the same thing is happening with your kidneys, is you're losing this water from the inside. So hydrate as you're needed, but I wouldn't force and try and get 1.5 gallons of water down and put more pressure on your kidneys, and you'll be fine. Also, keep your sodium intake up. I know a lot of people say cut your sodium. On keto, you don't. You actually use it in the process of ketosis, and you're constantly losing sodium. So Himalayan pink salt is #1 because it has other nutrients and minerals in it versus regular table salt, but up that salt count. It's going to be helpful to you.
Amazing. Yes, so do the fat, protein, carb circles need to be closed daily on the app? So yeah, do we need to finish? Yeah, that's a question that everybody keeps asking. Do you always need to, like finish all your daily macros allowances?
No, you don't. What you want to do is make sure your ratios are correct. So if you're 3/4 across all of them, then you're fine. Your calories will be down. And as you get into ketosis, you're going to see that it's hard to complete those rings. That's when you need to go back and adjust and manually change those macros for yourself, because you might start out at 2,000 calories, but once you get in ketosis, most people probably drop down to 1,000 to 1,200 calories. So just adjust those macros. One thing that doesn't change is it's always 20 or less grams of carbohydrates. And then you want to be about 75, 80% fat to protein. You can go 60, 40 if you want, but adjust those macros once you get in ketosis and you'll be fine.
Okay. I'm on keto diet and I also have type 2 diabetes, but I stopped losing weight after 3 months.
Well, if you're type 2, number one is get rid of the type 2. So that should be your primary concern. So my question would be, how are you doing on that? If you were doing meds beforehand, except maybe metformin or something like that, that's just good to keep taking. But if you're on any long-acting insulin, you should be able to get off that pretty quick, and you're going to get your body health. So depending, again, on what you're eating and be more specific that way, but there would be no reason why you stall being a type 2. And you can actually reverse your type 2 diabetes on a keto diet. I know many, many people that have dropped their long-acting insulin pretty quickly once they get onto it. One word of caution is when you start the keto diet, let your doctor know. And if you are on a long-acting insulin, ask them if it's okay if you can either reduce or stop what you're doing, as long as you commit to being strict on the carbs taking in. What can happen is you can drop your blood sugar too low if you're taking that based on the way you're eating before. And most doctors will say, yeah, or they'll keep an eye on it, or just make sure you're taking your blood sugar calculations more often, especially an hour and a half, 2 hours after you ate, just to make sure you're not dropping too low. If you do too low, you're going to have to eat some carbs, and that's just what you got to do. So.
All right. Should I be worried about high cholesterol?
Great question. Everybody asks that. Your body is changing when you first start. So you may see an increase in your cholesterol on your first blood test. But the real answer I like to get is, is my cholesterol going to be healthier if I do a keto diet? Now, everybody knows the LDL is the bad cholesterol. But what most people don't know is it's made up of two particles, a large particle and a small particle. The biggest number to look at is triglycerides. If you can keep your triglycerides under 100, which when you're doing a keto diet and doing it well is pretty easy. Most people range between 50 and 75 if they're doing keto well. If your triglycerides are under 100, then what will happen is you're going to be mainly large particle, which is not harmful to the body. It's a small particle, or when your triglycerides are over 100, that will clog your arteries, heart disease, and all that stuff. So your number should come down over the long haul. But even if it is a little bit higher or kind of stays where it is, you're taking that LDL and making it large particle versus small particle and be perfectly healthy.
Okay, next question is, do the keto test strips really work?
They do. I assume you're talking about the urine strips. They do, but they only work for about a month and a half, 2 months at the most. And the reason that is when you first get into ketosis, it's a new thing for your liver. So it's working hard and it's making a bunch of ketones for the body because it's really not sure what to do. So when you use the urine strips, you're actually spilling out extra unused ketones that you had in the body. Now, as you get more into ketosis and your body gets used to it, you're going to stop producing extra ketones. So I'm currently fasting right now. I'm at about 62 hours. My ketone levels are probably at the highest they've been. My blood sugar is extremely low, so I know I'm in a deep state of ketosis. If I use a urine strip, it doesn't change colors. So I know that's the case. So that's how I tell everybody to start. It's great when it turns bright purple. It's like a big celebration day. It's good to keep track of. You don't need to do it every day. If you eat something different or you just want to feel good, go ahead and pee on it. Don't test first thing in the morning. Your ketone levels are going to be lower at that point. Do it a couple hours after a meal or before a meal. But they're great in the short term when you first get going. And then there's blood tests and breath meters and things like that that come into play further on.
Great. Is keto safe for those who have high uric acid levels?
To be honest, I don't know that off the top of my head. I would want to take a look at it. If we have your information. What I can do is let me do a little bit of research, and then I can get something posted on the Keto Diet app and at least give you the right approach to it. And I don't want to tell you something that I don't know for sure. So
Okay,
sorry about that.
we'll save those contacts, and we'll keep you posted, guys. We'll send you a DM later, or maybe do a video answer later in the story section.
Perfect.
Okay, what about portion control?
Just slap your hand. It's best to weigh everything out, measure everything, and you know exactly how it is. And it may seem like a lot in the beginning, but as you do it more, you know right away on what that portion is. So you don't, it's not like every time you need to do it. You'll know pretty quick what a tablespoon of butter is and what a cup of almond flour is and things like that. So make sure you're checking what you do. The biggest problem I see is what I call the drive-by, meaning blueberries are fine. You can have some blueberries on it, but people walk by that fridge, and every time they walk by that fridge, they grab a handful of blueberries. So that's why you want a portion control. Nuts is another one. You walk by the pantry, you grab a handful of nuts. Oh, they're fine to eat. And then you go back an hour later, and next thing you know, the bottle's gone, and it's like, what happened? So have control, write or log in the app everything you're eating, and you'll see what you're doing. And don't cheat yourself, meaning don't eat a Snicker bar and don't put it in. If you eat it, I understand. It's fine. But I can help you knowing that, so if your weight goes up or you get kicked out, and get you right back in right away. So don't cheat yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Log everything and just be conscious of what you're eating.
Good. We have a bunch of questions about supplements and multivitamins. I just want to plug the app again and say that we have a bunch of articles there about, you know, supplements that make you look beautiful and supplements that like are good with keto. But yeah, Bob, let's answer this. Yes, some of the supplements to keep skin looking healthy, and yeah, good, so just generally good multivitamins that you can recommend.
I like a good no carb multivitamin. Make sure it's good quality. I like a good quality fish oil. The better the quality, you're not going to be burping up that fish flavor throughout the day. Make sure you have good electrolytes, whether you're using a supplement for that or whether you can make your own. You can make a lemonade, an iced tea, and have your go-to electrolyte drink that you can do throughout the day. Anything else would depend on a medical need if you need to do it beyond that. But those are my go-to: multivitamin every day, a good fish oil. Wintertime, I like to take vitamin C. BHB supplement I'll use if I'm coming off of a, I don't want to say cheat day, but something like that, or where I got kicked out or feeling sluggish. It's good energy and it does work. I just don't like to take it all the time. I let my liver make my energy for me versus that supplement. MCT oil, fantastic. If you don't like the oil aspect of it, just get the powdered MCT. You can put it in your coffee. It makes it kind of seem like a cream. So that's also excellent to take.
Awesome. Okay, more questions. We're getting through it, but still a lot more. Guys, if you have anything, yeah, like last call for questions now. Keto after weight loss surgery.
You need to transition into it because your digestion is going to be a little bit different, but there's no issue to it. But again, specifically, I would want to give you a certain amount of calories, see how you're tolerating that, and then adjust. And then you'll know, okay, this high fat right away is giving me some issues, and then we'll look at a digestive enzyme to help. And that's another supplement that I didn't mention before. I like digestive enzymes. It just helps keep everything flowing better and breaking it down, especially with the excess fat you're doing. It helps with that breakdown. But it's perfectly fine, but it would need to be tailored for you specifically, and just make adjustments. Hey, I'm having a stomach ache with this, or this is too much calories, and kind of adjust it that way. But it's a great way to go because it's really going to help increase that weight loss for the main reason you had the surgery to begin with.
Amazing. Oh, this is a good one. So keto and intermittent fasting. How does it work? And can I take bulletproof coffee during intermittent fasting?
You can take a little bit, and that's kind of a thing. So I do intermittent fasting every day, and I also do a lot of fasting throughout the month. I'll have heavy cream in my coffee, and it doesn't make a difference on my success. The problem when you take like MCT oil, which is obviously your bulletproof coffee, you're adding more calories in. So if your bulletproof coffee is a tablespoon of butter and you like that, it's not going to hurt. If you want to have a little half and half or ideally heavy cream in your coffee, that's not going to hurt. But you don't want to be doing a lot of it. You don't want to be doing excess MCT oil and really do that because you're trying to be calorie restrictive in that time frame. Now, if you're in ketosis, you're not going to be hungry. That coffee is kind of going to take any little hunger pain you have away. So I would go that approach. Intermittent fasting is great. You have a lot of free radicals, which is damaged blood cells just from course of living, bumping into walls, things like that. And when you intermittent fast, you allow your body to chew those up. And they're linked to cancer and other things like that. So I always say it's like a blood cleanse when you eat that way. And when I do a fast, and I'll get 3 to 4 days into it, I have the most energy and feel the best, which sounds crazy because I'm not eating, but it's really letting your body do what it's meant to do, and the energy is incredible.
Awesome. What about combining keto and metabolic resets?
What was the first part? Sorry.
Your thoughts on combining keto and metabolic resets?
To me, a metabolic reset, it would be kind of like a cheat day or whatever, and just kind of reset your metabolism and then kicking back onto the keto diet. And as I stated before, I don't have a problem with that. I think your body gets adjusted to the way you're eating very quickly and becomes too efficient. So when you have that metabolic shakeup, you kind of reset everything and then get back on with things.
Good. Okay, some fun questions. What's your favorite on-the-go snack and the best keto desserts?
Keto desserts. My Instagram, I have tons of desserts. They're fantastic. I can make chocolate candies, the chocolate turtles with the caramel and pecans. I can make those that are zero carb, cheesecakes, strawberry shortcake. I mean, it's really endless. If you let me know what you're missing, I can give you a keto version of it that's going to be very low carb and just as good. I'm not going to give you something and it's going to taste like crap and tell you, oh, it's really good. And you're looking at me like I'm crazy. Everything is delicious. I eat it all the time. What was the first part?
And favorites on-the-go keto snack.
Oh, beef sticks, cheese sticks, nuts are great. Kind of get you through. I've got, if you're at home, I've got really quick keto pizza you can make, quick salads. I have a whole bunch of quick to make things that I make ahead of time. Make a lot of it so I can just pop it up, throw it in the air fryer oven, and have it quick, ready to go. But on the road, a pack of pre-portioned nuts, whatever type they are, as long as they're not cashews, are fine. And cheese sticks, sausage sticks, anything like that.
Nice. How do you feel about sparkling water, like brand ice, if you're a soda drinker?
I don't have a problem with it. And outside of keto, I do know people that have had gut issues with it, with their intestines because of drinking too many. But I think they were drinking 10 to 12 a day. So don't do that. But if you want to have it once in a while, not a problem. I mean, I do. I'll have one once in a while, or if you do one a day, it's not going to hurt you. I understand that bubbly feeling back when you had soda. I get it. So I don't have an issue with it.
Great. What's the best way to avoid keto flu when first starting? I think we touched upon this a little bit, but maybe you can just repeat.
Yeah, so it's a real thing. The first half is reducing carbs. If you've been really heavy carb eater and you go to zero, it's going to have an effect on your body, and there's not much you can do about that. It'll make you feel sluggish. The biggest, more important thing is becoming dehydrated. So as soon as you start your diet, you want to up your salt intake, salt everything. And the other thing is you want to make sure you're doing electrolytes, magnesium, potassium, calcium, and that's going to help replenish your body as you're losing your water. As I said, in this process, you're going to start losing water and not realize it. A lot of people say, oh, I'm going to the bathroom more. That's just part of the process. So really make sure you're loading up on those electrolytes in the beginning. There's some good recipes on the app. If not, if you don't have something like that quick, Gatorade Zero, Powerade Zero, have some salt, avocado. There's a lot of good veggies that have a lot of electrolytes in it too that you can eat in the process. But it only lasts usually for a day or two, and it's only in the beginning. So it's not an all the time thing. No, you're going to feel a little sluggish. Usually if you're getting that headache, it's typically dehydration. Load up on that electrolytes and you'll be fine.
Great. Okay, a question about the coach program. Is it an extra fee for the coach if you already signed up for a year?
It is an extra fee. I believe it's $99, but the amount of coaching you get along with that, if you just go on the internet and search coaches, I mean, they're anywhere from $400 to $1,000 a month. So it's really a great deal. I can access your macros right away without you having to do anything. So as long as you're logging, I can get that right away. And we offer comment daily to how you're doing. And then the weekly phone call and access to ask questions. I mean, I think it's an amazing bargain. So there you have it.
Yeah, imagine you can just have an hour with Bob asking him all of this all by yourself without anybody interrupting, without having to wait for your question. How cool is that? Yes. I'm forever craving food. Why?
Number one, you're not in ketosis yet. A lot of people start and they don't realize the importance of keeping carbohydrates low. I saw a question come through the app and she wanted to know why she was still hungry. And I went and I checked her diary and she's eating 240 carbs a day, which is probably more than I was eating when I was in my carb life. So if you're doing ketosis right and you're watching your carbs staying under 20 and you do get into ketosis, I don't know anybody who has not seen their appetite drop drastically. So if I knew what your macros were specifically, I can give you a more one-to-one answer. But right there, I can tell you that you're not in ketosis and we need to modify something the way you're doing it to get you there.
Mm-hmm. What's the best intermittent fasting? I think you also, you said you're on one meal a day, but for beginners maybe?
A good start is 16-8, which means typically you would eat your last dinner meal, go to bed, and then your next meal would be 16 hours later. So depending on what time you went to bed. So it simply covers lunch and dinner, and that allows for some snacking in the evening and kind of contain it to that window. As you get more into ketosis, then you can look at a 20/4, meaning in my case, I don't eat for 20 hours and I have my 4-hour window, which allows me to eat dinner and then some snacks in the evening when I'm watching TV and kind of eat that way. But if you wake up and you're hungry, eat. So I'll do that 24, but if I wake up, the other day I woke up and I was hungry. So I made some breakfast. So don't hold yourself back. It's not going to hurt you. It's just the mainstay of what you want to stay with, fine. But don't restrict yourself when you're hungry. Eat when you're hungry.
Good advice. Guys, I just want to remind everybody we have a special offer. I've just pinned the link to the app. You can use that link and you'll get 50% off of your yearly subscription. That's your first step to starting keto diets. And then the second would be to join our keto coaching program, of course. But yes, if you still don't have the app and you have an iPhone, just follow that link and you'll get 50% off. That's $25 for your yearly subscription. That's a great deal. And we're going to have it for just these 24 hours. And you could be the first ones to get it now. Yeah, we're almost done with questions. Okay. What's the best way to know if you're in ketosis if you don't have a blood monitor or testing strips?
You're going to physically feel it. So the first thing is you're going to have a dramatic loss in appetite. And that's a good thing. And by that, I mean, you're going to wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm really not that hungry. Or you'll have a busy day and say, oh, wait, I haven't eaten all day. And that started with me. The next thing is going to be the energy. So when your appetite drops and you feel that burst of energy and you can sustain that all day long, you're in ketosis. And I can usually tell people by the way they describe how they're doing. and then know if they're in ketosis or not.
Okay, the question on everybody's minds, keto and alcohol. Came up a bunch of times already. I was thinking maybe we can skip it, but no, people keep asking, so we need to answer. People need to know.
So can you have alcohol on keto? Yes. You need to limit to about 1 to 2 drinks a day. Most of your hard alcohols, as long as they're not flavored, are fine. What's important is what you mix with it. You don't want to do a vodka tonic because tonic has a lot of carbohydrates in it. So if you're doing soda or you're doing a diet soda and you want to have a drink at the end of the evening, that's fine. There's plenty of low carb beers out there. You want to kind of stay under 3 grams, but I think most of them are about 2.5 carbs. That's fine. Again, 1 or 2. If you like wine, that's fine. But you want to stay at about 4 or 5 ounce to a glass. You can have maybe 2 if it fits inside your macros. But you want to go for a light body to medium bodied, very dry wine, and it's going to have less carbohydrates with it. One thing to know about liquor and ketosis is if you drink liquor, it's going to stop the process. It's going to be processed by the liver first. So that means 2 things. If you go over on your liquor consumption, you're going to really slow your keto process down. The other thing is, I know a lot of people get drunker faster when they're in ketosis. I had a client call me and say, I was blacked out and I didn't realize it, and I drank what I normally drink. And I said, well, this is the reason why. Now, he didn't stick to 2 drinks. He had a couple more, but that effect can happen to you. So that's perfectly normal if you get buzzed a little bit quicker. So if you can do it without the alcohol, great. If you are, ideally one drink at the end of the night is fine. If you need to do 2, that's fine. You want to relieve stress, and if that gets you there, that's going to have a great benefit for yourself. And so there you have it. It's not all bad.
Awesome. And then probably our final question. I think we've gone through everything. Any tips on what kind of fruits can you actually eat on keto? Just berries or strawberries?
Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries are pretty much what I recommend. You want to measure what you're having and not go over with it. Usually I do 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup. And then you can do a lot of things with it. You can take raspberries, a little bit of water, some allulose sweetener, boil it and make your own jelly, which is going to be very low carb. I do fresh strawberries. I toss them in some allulose, leave them sit for a little bit, and they make a great dessert topping, or I'll put that on top of my English trifle or strawberry shortcake or anything like that. Just make sure you keep track of what you do. If you're a constant picker, then just measure out that amount of fruit. But they're fine on keto. Obviously, pineapple, bananas, all that other good stuff, you pretty much have to do without.
Amazing. I love that we're finishing with desserts. Yes, sounds so good. So guys, Bob's Instagram is the Keto Initiative. We're gonna post that up our feed as well. If you have more questions for Bob, you can always reach him through Keto Diet App or also on his page. But preferably, if you want a coaching session, then you should go to the app and book it there. Bob, any last words for our viewers?
It's been great, been fantastic questions. I've enjoyed answering them. If you don't have that coaching button on the bottom of your app, just send a message, either DM or on the app, and say, hey, I'm interested in coaching, and then they'll get you a link so you can sign up. It's really a good program, especially if you're starting out. You get that free call, so if you're just thinking, is keto right for me? Let's jump on a call. We'll talk about it, and by the end of that call, you should know exactly kind of where you're at, and we'll get you to living a healthier life. It's amazing. Anybody you talk to that's been doing keto, and people I know have been doing it for 20, 30 years, it's an amazing way of life. And I just wish y'all the best of luck and have a great day.
Perfect. Guys, thank you so much for the questions. This was our first live feed. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to save it on our page so you can always access it and rewatch it and see the answers to all the questions that you may have missed in the beginning. Bob, thank you so much. This has been great. So much useful stuff. I'm sure we'll be doing this again very soon. Thank you everyone who joined. Yeah, see you next time.
Take care.
Okay. Thanks everyone. Bye.